Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
Now, Mr. Magazine.
Mr. Magazine.
Yes.
How'd you know what I was going to say? Today's going to be a positive video.
Okay.
Which is something or other that we definitely need with the way the sales are going, the way the world's going, the way everything is out there. I want to kind of come with a positive. And that's, and I want to hear your opinion on this. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Oh, that's a really, really nice. I want to know how that saying ever got started.
I have heard that, never seen it, but I've heard that.
I don't know how that saying got started. Actually, I don't. By that I mean, and we're just going to use eBay as an example. Now, obviously, the bigger picture, it's also true. But just on eBay, there's a lot of different business plans that you can make money at. And even just within the niche of books, magazines, ephemera.
Mm-hmm.
Comment.
This is a good one. Well, I kind of cover a lot of categories. So I don't, I specialize in magazines, and I want to not that I want to get out of magazines, but get more into toys, comics, and autographs. Build that out because that's where the higher money is right now. The higher ticket items for me with eBay. The cheaper stuff isn't selling.
Well, and stop right there. I think that's kind of an interesting statement as well, because magazine collectors, there aren't, I guess toy collecting, people are more than willing to spend hundreds of dollars on a rare action figure because there isn't a price guide, generally speaking. Leave out something like Playboy or something like that, or the comic magazines. There isn't a price guide, and there isn't a really well-established collecting community. Mm-hmm. So that if I got a rare wrestling figure on card, everybody agrees that's a rare wrestling figure on card, and it's worth $1,000.
Yeah. I
come in and I get a magazine and I say, this is a really rare magazine. Leave out the first Maryland, leave out the few ones that everybody knows.
Yeah.
This is a really rare magazine. Well, yeah, it kind of is, but who wants it? It doesn't have the demand that the wrestling figures have.
Well. And these guys become, I think, very shrewd over the years and like, hey, no one else is going to buy this. I'm going to let this guy sweat it out, make him a low offer. What's he going to do with it? So it's it's up to the seller. Hey, do you want to get rid of it cheap, or never sell it for a higher price? So, but it's nice to have niches. The way my shop is set up, I get all kinds of stuff coming in, so I'll cover almost anything if I feel it's not going to get broken, if we can list it properly. Whereas some people may just go to book sales and want to be a book dealer. They're just comic specialists. And, good for them because these specialists get more money than I do because I carry so many different products. They think I'm one of those, I don't know if it's a drop shipper or auction, online auction people. They, confuse me with those type of people because I have so many different listings and different products I sell. But, if I had a Amazing Fantasy 15 and a 5.0 and Mile High did, well, Mile High's probably going to get 25% more than I am for it, and that's just the way it is. So I also have to be smart when I'm buying as well because I know I can't go off the high prices. I'm not going to get the high price. So, is that what you're looking for?
It's half your show, so whatever you want to say. I kind of was going at it a little differently, but and I don't really want to mention any names just because we don't want to shout out any other sellers. They may not want their secrets out there. But there are sellers that we watch, and there are sellers that we followed for quite a while. And there's one seller that basically lists very few things, but the few things that he lists are at very, very, very high prices. In fact, the old joke about him was he would write the price out or he'd write his phone number out and put a $ next to it. That was where he got his prices from. And he doesn't sell very many things, but he'll be getting $800 out of an item that I'll be looking at going, I would have sold that for $50. And that is one business plan. He goes very high priced with high quality stuff. There's another gentleman that's a couple of tiers down from him as far as quality and prices, but also gets crazy prices. A lot of magazines, things like that. And he's out there getting, $50 to $75 for a magazine that I'd be lucky to get 30 on.
Yeah.
His sell-through rate isn't very high, but he does that. There's another gentleman that sells a lot of the same stuff as I sell. And an amazing percentage, I'd say 95% of his sales are under $10 items. But he gets the volume, and he moves it out in the volume. I'm kind of in between where I'm middling price, and middling amount of stuff sold. But all of us, everybody that I mentioned right there, has been doing eBay for 20 plus years. So either we're really gluttons for punishment, or every one of those 4 ways works.
Yeah.
You went a completely different way. You went volume as far as just as many items as you possibly can get listed up there. The downside of that is you cannot manage it yourself. You just cannot do it. You need to have multiple people listing, multiple people finding things, and that comes with its own group of headaches. But you've done well for yourself.
Sure. Low sell-through rate, but that's expected with the type of stuff we sell in the volume.
And the number of items you have up, definitely. The downside of yours as well is you wind up with a lot of room that you need, a lot of space that you need for stuff.
Sure.
There's another gentleman I know who pays essentially nothing on items. And last time I talked to him, he was like, yeah, I've got 1 box of unlisted stuff. He is more the pays almost nothing for stuff, sells it fairly cheap, but is always able to find new stuff and move it on out.
Yeah.
There's another gentleman I know who doesn't do much on eBay, but he sells things other ways. He buys just big bulk lots of stuff and flips, he'll break the lot into 20 different groups and make his money off of those. So he pays $1,000 and 20 groups that he gets $100 a piece for. He flipped 1,000 into 2,000, but he does that week after week after week after week, and so on. There's another gentleman that he sells a little bit different stuff. He sells postcards, things like that some of you may see out there. I think his name is Dr. Jim. It's him I'll shout out because he isn't in the same business as us. But at least he used to, I believe he still does, starts auctions every week. I don't know how many, hundreds, 1,000 auctions, whatever it is, a penny a piece, free shipping.
Wow.
And he sells a lot of stamps, postcards, that kind of things. But he's done it week after week for year after year after year. And are there things that sell for 26 cents? Yeah. But he makes up for it in volume. He makes up for it that you didn't just buy 1 item for 26 cents because he lost money if you did that. Yeah. That you're in there and you buy 17 items and you end up spending $24 with them and you got 17 items sold to you.
So we know, like, recently with eBay being slow for everyone, it's a little downward spiral that's, so to speak. Is he still doing what he was doing, or is it slowing down too?
Him, I haven't checked up, but the other people are all slowing down. Everybody else is slowing down. So I would expect...
Well, that's a problem because, like, say you're selling 150 items a day and you're averaging out at $5. Now you might average out at $2. So a lot of things you might be losing money on because you're selling the cheaper stuff and the better stuff may not be selling, or you got to sell for less. So that's tough. Although
that is a great business plan too, though, because I don't believe, or last time I looked, I don't believe he had a store. He just sells it all that way. It just all goes auction. And if you've got the inventory, you wash your hands of it at the end of the week, and you got more stuff that you'll be listing that week. Nice. So it's kind of interesting. But these are all long time eBay sellers, and I guess the point is find what works for you. Absolutely none of those ways that any of us are doing it is wrong, because again, we've all been doing it for 10, 15, 20 years. Right. A good friend of the channel, Auction Professor, talks all the time that he uses a three-time pricing strategy. He prices things for 3 times what he thinks he should get it, and then he discounts off of that. Works for him, works very well for him. So again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Don't let anybody tell you, as long as you're, at the end of the day, you're making money, don't let anybody tell you that what you're doing is wrong. But do look around at your competitors. Whatever you happen to be selling in, do searches on items in it and try to find some of the bigger sellers in it and see what they're doing. And you can kind of figure out their business plan just by watching what they've sold, what they have listed, and then pick what works best out of what they do for you. But maybe their overall business plan doesn't work for you. But hey, this is a really good idea that they have. And you can end up building your own business plan that works perfectly for you just based off of stealing ideas from a lot of other people. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that because, again, I couldn't do what you do. I just absolutely couldn't. It would drive me insane. I don't think I could deal with the I don't care how good your employees are. I would have difficulty dealing with them. I just would. And nothing against your employees, any employees. Right. Trying to manage 10, 12 people would be very, very difficult. And part of that's because of the way I'm wired. I don't generally miss work. I don't generally. And then all of a sudden, if you're scheduled for today at 10 o'clock, I expect you there today at 10 o'clock.
Exactly.
What do you mean you're not here? So I would have a difficulty wrapping my head around the fact that not only did you not show up at 10 o'clock, you never called. How do you do that?
Yeah.
So I couldn't do what you do. And
Sure.
you couldn't do what I do because there's an upper limit to the amount, realistically, an upper limit to the amount of money that I could make. And you wouldn't be happy making what I make.
Well, to cover my expenses, I guess. Right.
Well, your expense would be a lot lower too,
Yeah, true.
but you wouldn't be happy with that.
Right.
You know, I've got the day job, so that helps me out on that.
Sure.
So everybody is set up a little bit differently, and pretty much anybody that's been on the site for 10, 15, 20, 25 years is doing something right. The last thing I wanted to add, and we've mentioned this many, many times throughout the years, and Mr. Magazine is very good at this, and I'm less good, but I'm slowly getting better at it, is you often do need to change things up. You can't just do, if we were trying to do things on eBay the way we did them in 2002, we wouldn't still be on eBay.
Right.
We'd be putting everything up for auction. Well, no, that's not the way eBay is now. I mean, we do now as well, but we list it in a store afterwards.
Sure.
You know, we'd be like, I'm not going to have a store. I'm going to put everything up for auction. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And good luck to us. That doesn't work anymore. You know, and you got to stay on top of the trends. You have to do all that kind of stuff as well and change as needed. You know, I got into offering free shipping because that was what the trend was at the time. You know, you didn't, but I got into that, you know, and promoted listings. We got into that because that's kind of what you needed to do at the time and so on. So you do need to tweak your business plan as well. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. Do hit the like button and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.